Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So my friends, I have dedicated my time, to deliver a sort of a liturgical praise, to all of my friends, sitting out there. I wish to, talk to you and I wish to, deliver a speech to you. Basically, I call it as a civil rights address. So guys, right now, in India, the things, whatsoever we are facing or the degree of things, which we are haunted with, guys, I'm not trying to target onto any government or any current administration, which is basically ruling our nation. But guys, thing is that some of the potential things which India lacks, guys, and the other countries, and the other nations, and the other nationalities, guys, don't have. Guys, there basically happens to be a vast enlistment of those things, guys. Well, basically, let's deal with it, in precision. Now, guys, if we talk about it, guys, there happen to be lots of things, which are basically, not taken care of, guys, And I'm not, simply pointing any government, but what I simply wish to say, guys, that some of the things like the development of the public infrastructure, institutionalization of new amenities, establishment of new, better transportation methodologies for our civilians, having great reformations, even in the public sector, guys. Some of the things, those are some of the things, which are simply required for our nation. And guys, one of the things, which I gotta talk about is, guys, the domestic interactivity intermediaries. Now, guys, what domestic interactivity intermediaries means is, guys, that in the in basically outside your house, or rather, in a civil purpose, or rather, in a public domain, guys, while you basically, go out, you always, guys, might have felt, guys, that you simply, cannot communicate, with each and everyone, out there. You can simply, not go and, break that, the so-called barrier of shyness, or rather that barrier of someone's privacy, or rather that degree of freedom, which someone is having, or rather, you simply, cannot exercise that so-called liberty of speech or that liberty of talk, we, which we basically, which we basically, have a fundamental right about which, we have a fundamental right, guys. But the thing, which I gotta say is that the way in which I wish to, tackle this issue, guys, is that in the public domain, whenever you go, guys, whenever, when you try to converse with any particular human being and stuff, like obviously, you're gonna get defrocked, or you might be too shy to, make an attempt, or maybe, you might feel that, that situation is getting out of hand, and, you cannot go on, talk to anyone out there. And guys, that is one issue, which is not just faced by India, but even by the other all nations. Now, depending on the social culture and depending on the prospects, guys, which those all countries have, those are the way the fluctuations, guys, in the degree of ease, or rather in the degree of hardness, guys, might be varying. But guys, in India, in a greatest ever in this greatest democracy of the world, in this so-called thing, which used to be known as the Golden Eagle, guys, many years ago, a nation, which is basically the confluence of all the cultures of vast kinds, cultures of different kinds, people, or rather the so-called cooperation, or rather so-called synchronization, between multiple ethnicities, multiple religions, multiple castes, multiple cultures, even multiple communities, and even so-called diverse degree of languages. And that so-called diversity, which we have in our India, guys, really, makes our country seriously unique. But guys, one thing, which we gotta learn is that, the necessity to cooperate, or rather the necessity to communicate, with our own people. And guys, I don't, simply, wish to demarcate, between an Indian man, between an Indian human being, or an American, or a British, or a Japanese human being. Basically, what I gotta say is that fundamentally, we are all same. Fundamentally, we are being human beings. But guys, the thing, which we need to do as a nation, guys, should not simply, be left in the hands of the government. Like our current government is great. Even I support, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. Even I am a great supporter of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Even I am a great supporter of the Shri Arun Jaitley-National. But guys, what after them? Guys, just think about it, guys. What is going to happen, guys, after Shri Arun Jaitley-National? Like that great fellow, that great gentleman, guys, is probably, resting in his grave. Guys, after the untimely demise of Shri Arun Jaitley, guys, who is gonna govern our India? Like our current Prime Minister, guys, is absolutely great. I really praise, the current Prime Minister. But guys, what is gonna happen after it, guys, What is about us? What is about us youth? You all people, you all boys and girls, who are studying in your college, whichever city, whichever village, whichever megalopolis, or whichever nationality you belong to. Obviously, we need to engage in a spirit of cooperation, between the other nationalities. We never really need to show that, we are this and they are we are like this and those people are like that. We never really used to show it. But guys, when we talk in a national spectrum, guys, something, should be simply done, guys, to offer reinvigorating that Indian spirit, which had been lost, since a lot of generations. In the era of Sri Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the India, the way in which it was governed, or the way in which it was ruled, or the way in which, the India used to be, the economy, guys, which was shrunk, guys, after all the invasions, after all the Islamic, or rather all the foreign invasions, guys, in India. Guys, obviously, we gotta do something about it. We gotta do something about it, and obviously, we youth, guys, we youth are the ones, which need to, take pride, guys, into it. We need to, create a unification, between each and every relation, guys, whatsoever, we have in India, and even worldwide. It shouldn't be something like, that there should be an exhibition of a so-called supremacy, of one religion over the other. Basically, what we need to do is we need to engage in a spirit of cooperation, guys, and we need to unify ourselves. And basically, the age in which we are, I'm talking about the youth, guys, youth, the students, who are studying at college, students like you and me, boys and girls like you and me. What is in our hands? Now, guys, many people, might have some different propositions. But okay, these are the things, which we are not supposed to do. We are just simply, okay, no, okay, clean. We are not gonna do that. Okay, we are just simply not gonna, gonna use the Instagram, or we are gonna be addicted, to the TikTok, or rather to the other all social medias, or to the other all things, or rather to the other all fantasies and stuff. I'm not at all standing here at this moment, guys, I don't, wish to stand at this place, guys, even for a single moment, guys, to say that you should restrict yourself. But what I need to say is, guys, you need to learn to prioritize yourself. And in this way, guys, I'm even talking to myself and even to you guys. So, guys, what I basically need to communicate with you is that, there should be no ban, there should be no restriction, there should be no confinement or no limitations. But guys, what we gotta do is that we being Indians, or we being students, or we being the children of this great nation, we need to, we need to come up with some plans. We need to engage ourselves, and thinking about some things, which are gonna absolutely, improvise the situation of India. And I'm not talking about the economy and the gross domestic product over here. What I wish to say, guys, is that what you and me are gonna do. What you guys and what me are gonna do. What we can do is, guys, that there happen to be various sectors, in India, like as I told you, like lack of power, lack of proper public transports. And by meaning public transports, I simply, don't refer to the auto rickshaws, or rather the buses, or rather the buggies, or rather the taxis and stuff. That is not what I mean to talk, guys. If simply, guys, if you yourself, guys, wish to, experience the adversity of life in India, guys, you should very well, take a stroll in the night, guys, at this time, guys, at 2 o'clock in the night. Or rather, you should go to some of the towns, where those poor people, guys, are simply deprived of the amenities. And guys, what I need to say is, guys, that we as youth, guys, are focusing entirely on our education, but we should. But guys, what I need to do is we need to supplement it with an element of patriotism. And guys, that so-called summoning of the patriotism, guys, should take place, guys, amongst us. We as Indians, guys, should learn as to, how our nation should be, and how we need to stand, guys, at a global position, guys, to represent ourselves. At the end of the day, the nation, happens to be of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Nation belongs to us. Nation belongs to Shri Subhash Chandra Bose. Nation belongs to Shri Lokmanya Tilak. Nation belongs to Shri Savarkarji. Uh, nation belongs to Sri Savarkarji. Nation belongs to Sri Arun Jaitley-ji and all the great politicians, guys, and all the great people like Sri Sushma Swaraj, Manohar Parrikar, Narendra Modi, and stuff. But it's like, this nation, even belongs to us. This nation belongs to all of us, guys. And in this segment, all those people is welcome. But guys, what I gotta say is that what we as youth, should be doing is that, we shouldn't simply, restrict ourselves, guys, with all these social media, or rather with all these games, or rather with all the placements, or rather, with all the things, which are basically, just giving us an impression that, we as ourselves, we as human beings, are just born to be employed, or rather just to make money, or rather, to fulfill our needs. Now, obviously, there is no question, guys, that those things, are our necessity, obviously. But guys, what happens to define our necessities and the necessities of the nation, and the necessities which are universalistic, are the things which we all should learn. Together, guys, we should create and great India. Together, we should make our India great. Together, we should stand in a great unification, guys, all together. And together, guys, we should stand. We should stand all resolved, guys, and we should develop great technologies. Young scientists and young engineers or young doctors or young students, guys, like you and me, guys, they should work in their colleges, more than colleges, guys. They should come up with some revolutionary ideas, like the so-called instrument of the transmogrifier, and the so-called overall revolutionary things which India needs. As I told you already, the public transportation sector, needs to be the thing, which which needs to be the sector, which we as youth, we as the citizens of India, need to help, or rather need to collaborate or cooperate amongst us and engage in a great spirit of consensus and spirit of nexus, guys, to basically stand in unification and, guys, come up with some great ideas. Basically, guys, this is the motion, guys. This is what we need to do. Obviously, we need to basically unite amongst ourselves. We need to annex each and every one. We need to bring our own friends and Felicitates or confidant and Amura to whomsoever that is. We need to bring them, guys, to this great enterprise of transformation of India, or rather revolutionization of India, or rather universalistically pioneering India. So guys, together, we can all stand together in a unity and in an amity and having great amnesty, amnesty amongst us. And guys, together, what we can do is, we can obviously, keep brainstorming about a lot of things, about a lot of principles, about a lot of new projects, about a lot of new scientific explorations, guys. Whether it might be even about the India space age or colonization of the Mars. There have to be so many topics, guys, and what I gotta tell you, guys, is that young students or young boys and girls like you and me, guys, we simply, should never actually restrict ourselves, guys, with the employability or, with our studies. What we need to do is, we need to, obviously, emphasize onto those things. But what happens to be a patriotic responsibility of each and everyone being a fundamental Indian, being a human being, and even being in India, guys, that each and every man and a woman or a boy and a girl, should be a man and woman of that nation. So that's what I gotta say. Guys, that was my address. So see you and have a really nice day, and I'll get back to you at the next civil rights address. See you and have a great day, guys. Bye.